Black ass.
Fuck failure. I told you I'm good at what I do. Give it up. Give it up for Robo Maggot. I know y'all motherfuckers been waiting, but get ready. Maggo faggot. Black ass. Stinking ass. And hey, Miss Catfish. What the hell?
Black ass.
It's mega faggot. Stupid bitch. Robo asshole. The one and only.
Black ass.
I give you motherfuckers the one and only Robo. They need to let me make the new Transformer movie. I do the best Transformer. I want you to give it up for Robo Bitch. I should not have to say no name, but it speak for itself. It go by the name. I know y'all been waiting for something new, but give it up. This shit about to go worldwide, nationwide, BET. Give it up for... I got some real shit for y'all. Y'all motherfuckers been waiting a long time for this motherfucker. Mega faggot.
What's going on, guys? It's Zach and Nate. Welcome back to Into the Weird podcast. Today we're going to be talking about a completely weird thing that you don't hear a whole lot of in today's society is alien abductions. Nate, alien abductions, man.
I don't know, man. It's been a while since I've heard this topic come up on anything. But I was looking on my Facebook feed, and apparently yesterday, I don't watch Fox News that much, but apparently a House candidate in Florida that's running said that she was abducted when she was 7 years old.
And she's just now coming out about it?
And she's just now coming out about it. But I think she, a few years ago, she's on a Spanish-speaking TV show down there in Miami talking about it. So that's pretty interesting. To see somebody...
Well, yeah.
To see somebody in somebody in modern times come out and say, "Hey, I'm abducted by aliens," that just blows my mind, and that's still a thing. Is it true, or what is it?
Who knows?
Of course, man. Like I wouldn't even know. Man, like if I was in that situation, I wouldn't know what to do, man. Like, do I tell somebody? Do I?
Well, I mean, like, here's the thing, too. You got to think, like, is she batshit, or did she actually get abducted by aliens? I mean, we'll never know. But, I mean, let's say you were to, like, get abducted by aliens, and I just pulled up the article on Fox News, and it says that she was abducted when she was 7 years old. So, I mean, when you're 7 years old, let's say you were to get abducted by aliens, what the fuck are you going to think, man? I mean, like, are you going to think it's funny? Are you going to think it's cool? Like, I mean...
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're 7 years old, I mean, you wouldn't really know what to think. You could probably think... To be honest with you, I wouldn't know what you would think, really.
I have no idea. And I mean, like, kids, it seems like little children like that, everything seems funny to them. So, I mean, like, I'm trying to think, would she think it was funny, or, like, was she scared? I mean, why is she just now coming out about it?
Yeah, to me, she could be doing this for publicity, just to get her, for her election or whatever, but that'd be totally weird. Would you want to vote for somebody that is claimed to be abducted by aliens? I mean...
Well, yeah, I mean, like, it would just... I don't know. It would depend on... I mean, I guess if it was true or not first. Yeah. I mean, like, if she got abducted by aliens, I would vote for her. I mean, that would prove the fact that aliens are real. True. And, I mean, she could provide some insight on maybe what happened. But
where's her evidence? Like, what kind of evidence does she bring toward the case of being abducted?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not like she has some solid evidence or anything.
I want some DNA test. I want something.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what would you get from her though? I mean, She's probably had 100 million showers since then.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. It'd be interesting if this was the case. But
I'm thinking now. I think aliens are real. Because, I mean, like, we can't confirm nor deny that aliens are real. I mean, no one knows. I mean, except the government. But, I mean, like, maybe she, like, got kidnapped when she was very young. And her being a little kid, maybe the people who kidnapped her were like, oh, we're aliens. Or we're, something like that. I mean, who knows? I mean, a traumatizing event like that probably could persuade a young child like that maybe to think that.
yeah, it could be the case where something tragically happened to her, and to make it seem like she can understand how it happened is put aliens in the picture.
Yeah.
Maybe something crazy happened to her. Maybe she watched something as a kid about aliens, and that made her think differently or something.
Something. I'm glad you kind of brought that up because it gave me a thought. You said that like maybe something traumatic happened to her when she was a child, and maybe it did. But what I'm thinking about is like maybe it took her all this time to maybe finally confess to it or like come out with it, but she doesn't want to reveal who kidnapped her or who abducted her per se, and so she's saying aliens, or maybe if she leaked the name of it, she'd get killed or something. Who knows?
Yeah, I can see that coming out of that, something like that. But why would aliens come and abduct a 7-year-old kid? I've seen
Because
7-year-old kids in the doctor's office. They go nuts. I've
yeah. Well, I mean, like I think the moral of the story is aliens are fucking cool, and I mean, why wouldn't you want to get abducted by aliens when you're 7 years old?
I don't know, man. Some of these abduction stories are pretty horrible. About getting probed and all that stuff, and doing getting your navel cut out and stuff, and just horrible. I guess maybe they take it easy on kids when they do it. Maybe they, you know,
I don't know, maybe.
but oh man,
I'm gonna look up some recent alien abductions.
I'm hoping you find some, man. Because I guess as people are keeping quiet on this subject, or
Oh, here you go. This is this is on the Boston Globe, and it was an article from June 12th, 2016. The title of it is "Why Alien Abductions Are Down Dramatically."
I don't know. Does it give a reason why, or
I don't know. It's just got a little background here. Let me continue reading. It gives the background of Denise Stoner. It says when she was 2.5 years old, the first time she remembers talking to aliens. Like I guess the first time she got abducted or whatever, she remembers talking to
at
aliens.
2 years old?
2.5, yeah. And she said that she was home in Hartford with her grandfather, I guess that would be, I don't know, wherever. And it says her mother was at the hospital giving birth to her younger sister, and she remembers staring out at a large picture window and seeing an egg-shaped object in the sky hovering over some power lines. And then it's got a quote. It says, "What's Humpty Dumpty doing up in the sky?" she asked.
Oh wow.
So, and then it says right here, later that night, she was staring at her nursery rhyme-themed wallpaper. An entity walked through her wall, and this is a quote too. It says, "He looked like a monk, he had a robe, and he was carrying a light. I wasn't afraid of him," she said. "He put out his other hand for me to take it, and I did. We walked out into the hallway. The alien pointed his light at the wall and then disappeared through it. She remembers being in a large dome-shaped room with a lot of other children, and then she seemed to be learning something. In the morning, she was back in her bed.
Well, that's the first time I ever heard about an alien looking like a monk. What year was this supposed to be taking place?
I don't know. Says this lady is 68, so I would say it happened probably in the 70s
Really?
or in the 50s, 60s, 70s, something like that. I don't know. But
If it happened in the 50s and 60s, the government did a lot of experiments with LSD on children, like single women, single women. It's like the Montauk Chronicles is one of them. Oh well, she could have been part of that experiment where the U.S. government experimented with psychedelic drugs on, and
could have been.
That's pretty interesting right there.
Yeah, it says right here too. Since then, she says that she's been taken more than 50 times from her home. Oh, it says right here, she's from Colorado. So it says since she's been taken more than 50 times from her home, from the street, from her car, and the last time was only 3 years ago. And this article was published in 2016, so it would have been 2013 or 12. And it says, driving through the mountains in Colorado, she was abducted from her car. It says, each time it's the same being responsible. So it's the same guy every time. He looks like your typical gray alien, but he's one of the tall ones. It's just the very subtle shape of his face. His chin is a little wider. And she calls him her escort. There's no friendship. He comes to get me, and I know I'm going to be safe. He's always going to oversee whatever is done.
So, what makes her so special about 50 times, though? That's a lot to be abducted.
Well, I'm wondering, though, if, maybe, let's say an alien actually did abduct her. Maybe they picked her out to be like a child specimen or something and then have a key to what's going on Earth. And just kind of kept it all hush-hush for all this time. And maybe that's an alien's information source.
I would understand it, but you can think of it this way. Maybe they pick someone as a child, and they keep viewing them over time to see how that child develops, that type of thing, where they can see, the same way we do with animals. Certain animals, we keep them from little animals all until they die. Maybe that's what the aliens are doing. This is
Maybe.
Study humans better.
Maybe they're gonna study humans better before they come and ruin our race.
Yeah, I could.
That would suck.
I could see that they could do that for that purpose. I mean, we do it. We observe our enemies and study their tactics, and that could be the case, man.
Could be. I'm looking more into this article, and it says that Stoner is 68. She lives in Florida with her husband. She's now retired, and she works with fellow experiencers, people who feel that they had contact with intelligent, non-human entities. She also conducts investigations on behalf of the Mutual UFO Network, or MUFON. Being an experiencer is very much part of her identity. Her story is coherent. She doesn't ramble or get lost in the telling. So, I mean, she must not stutter or something like that. Either it's a well-rehearsed story or she's telling the truth.
Man, it's a possibility either way. I mean, it's just interesting on stuff that happening to certain people. I know in the early 90s, I'd always wish I was abducted by aliens. I've never seen a UFO. I've never seen an alien. But there's times where I've seen weird things in the sky. I think it's about the 90s, like 89, 90. Me and my little brother lived in Alabama. We'd always see a black football fly across the air. We thought it was a UFO, but I was back in the 91 Gulf War when that started. We
Yeah.
sort of bummed out to found out that they were testing those stealth fighters around Alabama. So we was pretty bummed out when it wasn't a UFO.
I bet that was pretty. I bet that was pretty shitty.
Yeah, we were pretty
Um,
bummed out about the whole thing. Um, but it's cool though that some people are experiencing things that we're not. Um, that's one thing that makes it so hard. Like we can't prove them wrong because we can't observe what they're seeing.
Well, and I mean, it's like even if both of us had an experience, we're still not going to convince the entire world that, I mean, this shit's happening because people will look at, I mean, the majority of people would look at us like the majority of people look at, people who have claimed that aliens are real or they've seen aliens. I mean, 99.5% of people will look at somebody who say that and think they're batshit. But the other, like, 0.5% that don't, like you and I mean, think that there's probably some truth to it. And I mean, getting into this kind of, like, people claiming they've seen aliens or whatever, I've always been very interested in ancient Egypt. And I mean, like, in cave paintings, in hieroglyphics, I mean, stuff in ancient civilizations, they've drawn aliens. Matter of fact, I don't remember which century it was in. I want to say it was like the 12 or 1300s in ancient China. They have scrolls and shit of aliens visiting and like giving them like blueprints to build stuff and stuff like that. I saw it on the History Channel once, and I always thought that was cool. But I mean, if aliens weren't real, why would these people have made it up so long ago and kept it so consistent?
Oh yeah, man. Hell, I see it. I always think, like, what did they see to draw this stuff? It's technically possible that aliens in ancient time were visiting Earth and sharing information with humanity at the time, because these people had to see something to draw these things, unless they had a really, really good imagination.
Oh yeah, and I mean I agree with you, and I mean back then I don't think they probably had time to have an imagination because they were more worried about like feeding their tribes or building fires or building shelters or something like, shit like that. I really don't see these people. I can't think, I don't think that they would have had the time or the patience to have an imagination of something like that and just make the shit up.
Yeah, and if you think it on this side of things, like what if those aliens, their civilization was ending, and that they were at their last breath, and they were sending information out across the stars, sharing their technology with whoever would get it. That's a possibility, because
It is a possibility.
space is so vast. They could have sent ships out 50,000 years in our ancient time, like 50,000 years, and that's when they showed up in our time as in the ancients, and they wanted to share their history of their world.
There was a. I'm pretty sure I've told you about this, but there was a weird conspiracy theory that I came up with one day. Just I think I was like half drunk or something. I don't know, but I still think that it's cool. What I think of aliens visiting the Earth and just aliens in general is I think that they're not green like green men like most people think they are. What I think they are is future like humans from the future. And I've always kind of thought that whenever there's an alien sighting, like somebody like a UFO sighting, um, my immediate thought goes to like, okay, well, they were stopping something from happening. So, for instance, like let's say somebody came up with a cure for cancer finally, which there probably is. The government's just probably blocking that. But let's say somebody came up with a cure for cancer. Maybe a cure for cancer wasn't supposed to happen for another 4 years from now. So, what I'm thinking is maybe these aliens or these humans from the future just come and stop whatever technological advancements are supposed to happen until, like, you know what I'm saying.
I get what you're getting at.
I mean, I don't know if there's. I mean, that could be completely off the wall. I don't know, but it kind of made sense.
Yeah, it could be like a time force or whatever, trying to maybe that something happened before it should have caused ripples in time, or humanity like they made a cure of cancer tomorrow and wasn't supposed to, and humanity suffered for it, like a zombie outbreak or something happened.
Yeah, I mean, like something like that. But I don't know.
I mean, time travel is theoretically possible, but it'd be a one-way trip. So maybe they're coming back in time and saying all this stuff or stopping something and destroying their technology because we can't find it now, or this is a possibility for the aliens. Maybe the aliens are time travelers trying to, stop us from doing something crazy, 10,000 years ago or whatever. And
Yeah, I mean, like I said, whenever I kind of thought about that, I mean, I was mildly under the influence of adult beverages, but still to this day, I mean, I think to myself, what it like. I mean, that could be a possibility. That's more of a possibility than aliens not being real.
yeah,
And this all just being one big ass joke.
yeah, you can't tell me the vastness of space itself. There is parts of the universe we can't even see. That there's not some kind of a life out there.
Yeah, and I mean, I've always been interested in space, and with me starting to play No Man's Sky again, which, guys, by the way, No Man's Sky, the revamped version, fucking off the wall. Like, it is awesome. But after playing that game and, like, seeing how, like, there's, like, 10 different solar systems you can go to, and I'm thinking, like, there's so much unknown about space now. There probably is fucking 10 solar systems that you can go to.
Of course. I mean, we're finally discovering things in space that we would never know of 10,000 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
The possibilities are endless on what's out there. To me personally, it'd be pointless to be the only ones in the universe. This would be one boring place if we find out that there's nothing else out there.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, but we'll never find out if there's nothing else out there. I mean, not in our lifetime anyway.
It's a possibility. We're getting close.
I think, look, the deal with, like, other life, it revolves around the government willing to release that shit, Because, I mean, damn well that the government knows if aliens are real or not. If, like, I mean, this Area 51 shit, Roswell, I mean, why would they try so hard to cover up something that's just one big joke?
I mean, the only reason why I think they would cover up if they discover that there's aliens out there, there would be a mass panic if people discovered life elsewhere in the universe. and they're trying to keep it under wraps to keep everybody in control or whatever. That's a possibility.
Yeah, it is a possibility. I mean, it's as much of a possibility as any theory is, because no one knows.
But I'm hoping before I die they find some life somewhere. I don't care if it's a little bacteria on Utopia or Mars or whatever.
I think that there's probably a bacteria on Mars because, I mean, they found water. And, yeah, I mean, it's frozen, but what would they find if they unthawed that water? I mean, would something show up if they unthawed it or what?
Yeah, their robots on Mars can only do so much. It's time for a space mission.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, you think about, like, I don't know. There's just so much unknown with space.
Yeah. I don't think sucks though, man. We're in between a time where we're really not gonna be able to know anything.
Yeah, no. But that's okay because hopefully, I don't know, hopefully we'll find out something within the next few years with Elon Musk launching his mission to colonize Mars. And maybe Virgin Galactic will come out with something that can make space flight affordable. And maybe in our lifetime, you and I can at least experience space, shut the flat earthers up, and call it a day.
Yeah, I would totally spend. I would give out my whole paycheck for a year to send a flat earther up into space to show them, hey, it's round.
Yeah. You know, going like into the flat earther deal, was it? I don't know if it was Galileo. Was it Galileo that came up with the solar system, or like that figured out about the planets and stuff?
It was actually, I can't remember the guy's name, but a Roman scientist proved that the Earth is not flat and round. And using this common, the shadows on the Earth should be plenty enough to prove that the Earth is round.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what I mean. The fucking moon's round. I mean, if the fucking moon's round, why would the Earth be flat?
Well, apparently, to flat Earth's moon is I think like 100 miles from Earth or whatever.
So they think it's like a hologram.
Or they think it's some kind of a weird imagery out there. And if I can look through my telescope and see the surface of the moon and see the shadow of the lunar lander, no, people just need to find something else to be.
Wait a minute. Can you actually see the shadow of the lunar lander on the moon?
You can.
Okay, I was gonna say that is actually fucking cool. I've never used a telescope to even look into space or any. I've used a telescope to like look through, you know, from a great distance away on the ground, but never up.
Yeah, you can see the shadow of the moon lander.
That is so cool.
And
Yeah, it says Galileo, he discovered the mountains on the moon and the spots on the sun and the 4 moons of Jupiter.
yeah, all those planets are round. So why are we different? I think this goes back to it's a religion that's fueling this madness, where we're at the center of the universe. Everything else goes around us, and all the planets are some kind of a outer world or whatever. It's just plain out stupid, man.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like I said, the whole flat earther deal, it's fucked up. I mean, for somebody to think that the Earth's flat, I mean, I who am I to say that they're wrong? But I just want to know. I mean, I don't want to down anybody or anything. I just want to know why somebody thinks the Earth's flat.
Yeah, I mean, I want their proof. Like, can they prove me wrong when I say the Earth is round?
Yeah.
Or are they going to quote a fairy tale out of a book, which actually technically proves them wrong? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know. And I mean, who am I to say that they're wrong? Because in the end of the day, I don't even know because I haven't been up in space.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been up there either, so it's always good to have their side of the story. But I want some science. I don't want no fairy tale book. I want to know. I want photos. I want your scientific proven facts on why you think that way.
Yeah. Guys, Into the Weird podcast, we're going to be talking about this stuff all the time. This podcast is all about weird things like space, aliens. We're going to talk about some politics. I'm going to have a sports segment also. You can check that out on Into the Weird Sports. And also, at some point, we're going to be doing some game reviews, like some console games, some PC games, some board games. Guys, Into the Weird podcast. Weirdness for one, weirdness for all.
We're going to have fun with this, guys. We're just learning. We're barely enough technology. We got like bare minimum on what we have. We're working our way up, and hopefully we'll get better and give you guys some information on the weird stuff and get our minds going somewhere else and learn from everybody.
Yeah, and I mean, thank you guys so much for your subscriptions. We truly appreciate it. Again, like Nate said, we're working with little to no experience, but just bear with us. We're only going to get better from here. Also, let us know what you think down in the comment section below. What you think of this video, our past videos, and what you think our next video should be about. But Nate, I want to ask you something. Do you think now? I saw a video. It was a thumbnail and title on YouTube. It was a video talking about Jupiter and how apparently Jupiter like halfway created Earth or something like that.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, Jupiter's like very, very large. It could have played a major role in, I guess you can say, creating Earth. I mean, I'd have to watch that video and see what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same with me. I mean, like I said, apparently the features of Jupiter and I guess the gases or something on that, I don't know. But the video was talking about how apparently Jupiter and Earth are like twins or something. Just one's bigger than the other.
Pretty much. I'll say, it would go down to the fact that we all formed around our sun. I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to watch that video now. You got me thinking about that now.
Yeah, I'll make sure to send you the link to it. But and something else I forgot to mention too about like the flat Earth crap. The only thing that I can think of that somebody might think the Earth is flat is if they don't believe in the laws of gravity. Because, and a reason I say that is because we have all these bodies of water. Okay? And all these bodies of water, I mean, whenever you turn a cup upside down full of water, what's it going to do?
Don't fall out.
Okay. So the only thing that I can think of that somebody might think the Earth is flat is all these bodies of water. If it's round, why doesn't it all fall out? That's the only thing that I can think of where somebody might think the Earth is flat.
I mean, that's the thing. The only thing I can think of is that they believe in some sky fairy that holds the Earth together or something, and it's flat. I know that's not. I know
I
I'm
mean,
ruffling feathers, but come on, get real with me here. I want a legit reason on why you think the Earth is flat.
yeah, I mean, I
If the
completely agree
Earth,
with you.
if
You
the
know, I
Earth
mean,
is flat, explain to me how satellites work. How's the space station fly around? How's the moon orbit Earth?
it's all a hoax.
If they claim it's a hoax, I can prove them wrong, like right now. Okay,
How can you do that?
I I go out and look at the space station fly overhead. That'd be one proof. Like, what's that? Are they gonna say that's
Yeah,
a hologram or something?
it's the bat signal.
Why am I talking to a guy using a satellite that lives in North Carolina? Okay, if the Earth is flat, I will not be able to talk to a guy in North Carolina on a satellite.
Yeah, I mean, the distance would be so great.
Yeah, it'd be the line of sight. Would be so. I couldn't be able to make contact if the line of sight's too far away because the curve of the Earth would block my signal. Block it.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like I said, it's I don't know, it's crazy.
Yeah, of course, man. Like, I'm gonna have to make some ham radio, like amateur radio videos on how this stuff works. Stuff like that proves Earth is round too.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, you have a whole lot more experience with the ham radio stuff than I do. I mean, I have no experience with it.
I mean,
But,
I've talked to the space station. I mean, I talked to like an astronaut and two cosmonauts.
that's
Who was I
fucking
talking
cool.
to up there? A recording.
Yeah, you were talking to a
So
robot.
my signal had to bounce off something up there in space. Is there a mirror or something? Is there some kind of
Yeah,
a water mirror
bro,
blocking my signal? Or I don't know. People are freaking.
bro,
And they need to grow up.
bro. Behind the clouds is just a bunch of mirrors that bounce signal off, and in reality, you're just talking to a robot.
Well, if that's their claim, then how do the mirrors get up there?
It's just a bunch of people holding them up, Nate. Stop questioning me.
Uh, I can't wait.
Oh,
I can't wait until the day comes where you take like $200, take you a space ride, and find out for yourself.
you know, I mean, if NASA still had the same funding as they did during the Cold War,
Yeah,
that very well could have been a possibility.
yeah.
You know, I mean, we could be doing a live stream on Into the Weird podcast. We could be doing it from space or from the International Space Station.
Heck, man, we could be in an RV right now at a, a truck stop around the moon
That'd be fucking
doing our
nuts.
podcast on Into the Weird.
That'd be fucking nuts. I mean, I'd be so down to do that.
Yeah, I'd be down too. I mean, heck, I'd be the first one to go. Like, here's my yearly pay. Here's every check I have. Send me up here.
Yeah. Hell, I would sell my, dude, I would sell my property in Florida. I would sell my car. I mean, and I would give up a good amount of money to go up into space and just like go chill at the International Space Station or just to step foot on the moon. I'd give my left nut. Actually, you know what? I'd give both my nuts to do that. I really would.
I think it would be cool to go on the moon and explore the moon, especially explore the dark side of the moon, because we really don't know what's on there.
Yeah. I was about to ask you about the Dark Side of the Moon. What your thoughts about that is?
Well, I know it's a good Pink Floyd album, But
Yeah.
we don't know much about the moon. It's been thousands of years since we've seen the other side of the moon. So
Yeah. Well, I mean that, and I mean, there could be life on the moon too. I mean, it just could be on the dark side.
that it could be something like maybe a bacteria lives on the moon or something in that nature. I don't think there'd be any kind of sentient life form on there, unless it's like some kind of alien outpost or something where they're keeping an eye on us.
Well, speaking of alien outposts, have you saw the conspiracy where the moon is actually hollow and it's in like an alien Death Star?
Well, yeah, that could be a possibility because one of the Apollo missions, they actually crashed one of the spacecraft they were using into the moon, and it made a big bell sound.
Okay.
I'm thinking it's probably full of caverns and it's not solid. That's for sure.
No. Well, there's a video that I watched too, and I know I told you about it. It's why don't we live on the moon? Like, why don't we colonize on the moon instead of Mars? And what it was is apparently the amount of, or like obviously the lack of atmosphere, because there's no atmosphere on the moon. But in the same video they were talking about how billions of years ago the moon was full of lava, and that lava made a bunch of hollow caverns and like caves on the inside of the moon. And in the video they were like, well, we could live inside of those and then build a stable atmosphere.
Yeah, of course, man. We can have like underground cities on the moon if we really wanted to. Um, we wouldn't have to really have much on the outside, but we could probably flourish on the inner side of the moon.
I would say, I mean, like, I don't see why we couldn't. uh, and I mean, obviously colonizing Mars, that would be cool. um, I still don't know how. I still don't know how it would work though. I mean, like, are they gonna build a big dome or like what?
We would totally have to build underground bases on the Mars.
Because I mean, there's no oxygen on Mars. I mean, it's not like we can just walk out of a spaceship, take our helmet off, and be like, ah, that good Mars
Well,
air.
the only other thing, there's not much atmosphere, so the radiation would probably get to us.
Probably. Uh, Nate, I'm telling you, like, talking about No Man's Sky a little bit ago, dude, I'm telling you, you gotta get it.
I plan on getting it.
I mean, like, you gotta watch your radiation levels and all kinds of shit. Like, it's so cool.
Yeah, it's about time we start playing Ark again. So,
Yeah, it's getting close to that time, man.
so as soon as it starts getting cold outside, I'll just stay and play video games all day.
Yep, I agree with you on that. Guys, Into the Weird podcast, if you've listened to us this far, you are awesome. Like I said, we're going to be talking about all kinds of weird shit on this podcast. This is the kind of podcast where you don't typically find on YouTube. Because we're going to be talking about space, aliens, conspiracy theories, politics, games, all kinds of fucked up shit. Guys, Into the Weird podcast, weirdness for one, weirdness for all.
Yeah, man. Give us a chance, guys. We'll get better. Time will tell, and I think the world needs some more weirdness in their lives.
Oh, absolutely. Because I mean, if we all conformed to what the leftist media wants us to, we'd all be a bunch of softies and pussies, and we'd all be boring. We'd be a laughing stock.
Yeah, guys. So let's not be boring and actually try to explore the deepness in our brains and question everything.
Guys, like, comment, and subscribe on this video. We'd love your support on the channel. Also, if you are so kindly to subscribe to our channel, also hit that notification bell. You'll be the first to know whenever we upload a video, whenever we post a picture. You guys will be the first to know. Thanks again for listening. This is Zach and Nate with Into the Weird Podcast. Tune in next time. Bye.